Hello, in this Python database programming tutorial, we are going to cover connecting to a database because we've set it up, but how do we connect? Okay, honestly, it's pretty simple. One thing that I just want to mention is that I'm using XAMPP for the database connection and I will be managing it via the PHP My Admin GUI. I covered this in the previous tutorial that you can use XAMPP potentially for a server. Actually, it was in an older tutorial than that, just in general for Python related stuff. I'll actually be using the IDE to be actual run the code. I just prefer that for Python over using like the browser, for example. It's just easier, but I'll just be connecting to the MySQL database. Even though this isn't necessarily hooked up to it, it is it is as well. So MySQL database, as long as that's started, that's fine, and you're all good to go. The reason I've got the Apache web server, some of you might be thinking, is why have I got that running? I don't need it to connect to a database via Python. It's just so I can actually access this interface. If I don't have the web server enabled, I can't access this GUI interface, so I can't actually visually see what's happening, but I can just access it via the Python code. Okay, now that's out of the way. Now let's just start coding. So first thing we want to do is create a connection to our database. So we're just going to call it DB. This is just the database object that we'll be using. So DB equals PyMySQL. And another thing I want to mention is that I've seen tutorials online that use PyMySQL, and a lot of them have it capitalized like so. And that doesn't work for me, it never has. So I just want to mention that. So if you come across any tutorials, it's like that, it's not working for you, just do it all lowercase, or vice versa. If it's not working the way I'm doing it, try doing it the other way around. If you're having any issues, as usual, reach out and I'll assist. So .connect, so pretty simple. And this takes 4 parameters. First being the server name, next being the username, password, and the database, so like the actual database you're connecting to. So the server name for my local server is just called localhost, so whatever your server is, make sure you put the correct server name there. And I'll show you. So it says root at localhost. So localhost is the server name, root is the user, and root. Then the password, I don't actually have a password set, it's just a local server, so not really first. Obviously, if it's online and the website or the application is accessible by the public, definitely have a secure password on there. But I don't have one, and I'll just be connecting to a database called users. It could be whatever you want. I've already got one created. It's actually created for a different purpose, but I've got it here, so I'll be using this. So now, if we go back, what we're going to do is now do cursor equal db.cursor like so, and what this does is just prepares a cursor object which we can use later on with the cursor method, and we'll show you what that right now. So we just do cursor instead of doing this every single time. It just simplifies it to this. That's all it is. Execute. So we are going to execute a query, and what we're going to do is just essentially select the version, get the version of our database. So select version. Obviously, this is just where you put like your MySQL query, for example, like a select or a create or update or insert, that sort of stuff. But we'll be covering that in future videos, so feel free to check them out. So we're going to do data now. Data equals cursor dot fetch 1, and what we're doing here is we're just fetching a single row, because there could be multiple pieces of information. Like if you selected something from a database, you only want the first row. This is how you do it. Again, we'll cover this in more depth and how to do it over other videos. And now we're just going to print this out. So we're just going to print out the database version. So it's going to do data. And it's always good practice to close the connection afterwards, whether you're in Python or another language like PHP. Save that. If I go to run module, hopefully we get no errors. No, we don't, and we get this 10.1.22 -MariaDB. So if we go to So phpMyAdmin, as you can see, MariaDB, and that's literally what it prints out. MariaDB, if you don't know, is just a fork of MySQL, so it is a form of MySQL as well. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. In other database videos, we'll be looking at creating tables and all of that really cool stuff about interacting with databases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.